bullish or bearish, whether you're a rookie trader or a rock star, we believe there's room for everyone. Every Filipino can learn how to trade. We're just your average Joe. But together, let's take advantage of the greatest equalizer of wealth ever, the stock market, where millions can be made and lost in a click of a finger. The journey to trading mastery is a lifetime, and we're here to stay. We are ZFT, and this is where the hot money is.
May ganap sa ano. Okay, so again, good evening to everyone. Welcome to our first Ask ZFT podcast for this year. So yung topic natin ngayon, dapat to last Sunday ko pa na-discuss eh. Kaso, yun, nagkaroon tayo ng FGD and parang market review for 2022, no? Kaya hindi natin nagawa. So, minove natin for tonight. And the topic is New Year, New Me. So, we are welcoming the new year as traders and syempre as individuals. And we have these resolutions, right? May mga ano tayo, mga gustong gawin na bago for this year. But here's the thing, most of these resolutions don't usually work out. Especially for traders. So yun yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi. Kung bakit ang nangyayari is nagsislack off tayo when it comes to our New Year resolutions. Okay, so bago natin simulan yung discussion, may I ask sa audience natin, sino dito yung talagang deliberately gumawa ng New Year resolution for this year? Hindi yung on top of your head lang Yung talagang sinulat mo or you encoded it and you made a commitment na these are the set of things that I'm going to change for this year. Meron pa bang gumagawa nun ngayon? Okay, sige. So, si Mariel daw, yan, gumawa daw siya ng New Year's resolution. Sir Peter din. So, sila lang dalawa sa lahat ng audience natin, sa 15,000 na audience natin for tonight. Okay, so vision board. Vision board, parang ano din yan, no? Parang, hindi siya technically resolution, it's more of, ano yung roadmap mo for this year or for the years ahead. Okay din yan. Okay, so that's good, no? Kasi ako, I make it to a point na before the start of the year, before I start actively trading again, ma-identify ko muna kung ano yung mga dapat kong improve from my performance last year. Okay, so that's for the trading aspect. Siyempre, outside of trading, like sa work, with my personal life, part din yun. So, gumagawa ko ng parang personal assessment. So, I do a lot of introspection para maganda yung pasok natin, no? Sa taon. Sige, so, sa mga nagsabi dito na gumawa kayo ng resolution, I'm guessing na it's the same thing for last year. Right? May resolution din kayo the previous New Year. So, matanong ko kayo, were you able to do or implement yung mga resolutions na sinabi nyo sa sarili nyo last year? And to what extent? So, if you say, let's say, para sa'yo, yes, na-implement mo, but only up to 80% of the things that I've written last year. So, sige. Anyone who would like to share, kahit sa chat lang, were you able, so that's the first question, were you able to implement or execute your resolutions? So, yes or no? And to what extent? Sige, so abangan ko yung mga sagot nyo. Kasi kailangan ko yan para mas may sense yung mga share ko sa inyo for tonight. Oh, wala nang wala nang wala nang nag-share sa chat. So, ibig sabihin ba niyan na this year lang kayo gumawa ng resolution? So, last year wala. Is this the first time after some years na may resolution kayo? Or what about those na may vision board? Ayan. So, sa vision board na meron kayo, ilang percent dyan ang sabihin nating na-achieve nyo for 2021? Okay, ayan. Sabi ni Eman, Sir Emmanuel, 30% lang daw. Okay. So, 70% na miss. Si Ma'am Shera, 40% lang. Ako honestly siguro mga nasa 50% lang din yung na-implement ko sa mga resolutions ko. So, here's the thing, no? When it comes to change, when it comes to doing something different, most of the time, we are very optimistic about ourselves. Pero ang nangyayari is, sa actual, yung optimism natin is hindi siya nagta-translate into actual results. So, it's the same with trading, right? Sa mga new traders dyan, like less than 2 years. So, anyone who has been trading for less than 2 years, I consider baguhan or beginner sa trading. You will notice na the moment you are educated about trading, 'di ba? Ang dami mo nang alam na concepts and rules. Pero hindi lahat ng 'yan agad-agad mo ma-implement sa actual execution or sa actual process mo. Okay? So, if you are kind of frustrated or disappointed na hindi mo na-implement lahat, okay lang 'yun because that's normal. So what I'm trying to say here, just to set the tone for our discussion is, hindi talaga likely. Okay? It's possible but it's not likely that when you have resolutions, when you have ideas to change or improve yourself, 100% magagawa mo siya. Ako masaya na ako if, let's say, may resolution ako and na-implement ko siya kahit up to 50% lang. That's already ideal for me. Okay, so let's start with that note. So the first reason why traders, yung mga resolutions natin don't usually work out is because, number one, we have very unrealistic expectations when it comes to changing something, when it comes to improving something about ourselves. Okay? Yung parang ganito, no? Like, 2021, or let's say 2020. So, 2020, nakita mo yung how you traded and you realize na sobrang hina mo sa risk management. Okay, so you have very big losses, you don't know how to add your positions. And then at the end of 2020, you were able to learn in theory yung mga good practices for risk management. So alam mo siya sa utak mo. Pagdating ng 2021, nilagay mo doon sa resolution. So this year, I'm going to execute my risk management perfectly. So kung last year, syempre kasi gumaling ka sa risk management, okay? Yun yung expectation mo. So if last year you ended up, let's say 20% down yung portfolio mo, this year you are expecting na dodoble yung pera mo. Okay? So you set this unrealistic expectation. Now when I say unrealistic, it doesn't mean na it's not possible. Okay? So we all have these resolutions na ganito ako last year, therefore, this year, I will completely turn around who I am. So, 180-degree turn. So, if I were doing undisciplined trades, pagdating this year, wala na akong magiging undisciplined trades. Diba? Yung shift from being undisciplined to very disciplined. Ganun yung gusto nating change na mangyari sa atin when we enter the new year. Kasi nga, new year, new me. Diba? And for me, that's very unrealistic. Again, it's possible, but it's unrealistic. Because in trading, guys, yung mga changes na yan that we hope na magawa natin, they don't happen out of force. Okay? They don't happen just because we will them to happen or just because we force ourselves to make it happen. There is a very tedious process para magawa mo yung shift from, let's say, from being very undisciplined to a very disciplined trader. And in fact, kahit sa amin, I've been trading for 5 years, more or less. I would say na yung discipline ko is not entirely 100%. I still commit a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad decisions when it comes to trading. And pagdating ng year-end, same realization or same assessment. Bakit ko to ginawa? So yun yung dapat na ayusin muna natin. How do we differentiate unrealistic expectations with the idea na you want to be very optimistic about yourself. Like, you want to achieve something great. I think 2 days ago or siguro last week, there's one student and yung question niya is regarding targets. Okay? Kasi sabi niya, is it good na if you are a trader, you set very high targets, or yung gamit niyang term that time is quota. So very high quota. Like let's say last year, ang performance mo is break even. So this year, ang gusto mong ma-achieve is 200% performance. So okay lang ba yun na you are very optimistic, like you aim for something very high? So ang sagot ko doon is the simple answer to that is yes. Okay, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you telling yourself na gusto mo ganito yung parang gusto mong ma-achieve na level. There's nothing wrong with that. Nagkakaroon lang ng problema doon if that particular quota or expectation about yourself ends up sabotaging your process. Yung tipong instead na makatulong siya sa'yo, makatulong siya on how you build and develop your system, ang nangyayari is nagiging cause pa siya kung bakit hindi mo siya na-execute ng tama. Okay, let me give you an example of that. If I were to be honest sa inyo, last year, ang target ko sa portfolio ko was 200% performance. And if you're following yung unshaded challenge ko, I was only able to achieve 60%. So medyo malayo, right? I'm short of 140%. So tinanong ko yung sarili ko when I was assessing my journal, unrealistic ba yung sinet kong 200%? And after contemplating about it, I said to myself, it's not unrealistic. Okay, yun yung assessment ko Kasi, number one, I have the right process. Hindi sa magaling na ako, but I know, if only I follow my process, if only I trade the right instruments, ma-achieve ko yung target na yun. Okay? The only reason bakit hindi ko siya na-achieve is not because it's unrealistic, but because I made some mistakes. So, alam to ng mga TIP students ko. Number one, I was very conservative in my risk capacity. So, hindi ako masyado nag-take ng risk even if the market was telling me to go with conviction. So, that's one. Siyempre, pag wala kang conviction, minimal yung position size mo. So, ang ending, instead na you have big gains, you have conservative gains. So, that's one. And number two, I slack off. Okay? From June. So, yung last significant gain ko for PSE was June sa ever. After that, lahat ng big alpha plays na miss out ko na. So Converge, I wasn't able to trade. AceX, hindi ko na trade. Even if pasok siya sa parameters ko. And upon assessing it, the reason bakit hindi ko sila na trade is because I became complacent. Okay? And parang nagkaroon ako ng parang okay na to mindset. Okay? Alam mo yung okay na to mindset? Yung tipong, okay na, up naman ako ng 60%. So, okay lang sa akin kahit hindi ko na ma-achieve yung target ko na 200% for that year. So, because of that, hindi ko na-achieve yung expectation ko, yung target ko for myself. But was it possible? Could I have done better para makuha ko yung 200% na yun? Absolutely. When I reviewed my trades, one by one, and when I reviewed my monthly performance, nakita ko doon na if only I did the right things or if only I did things better, na-achieve ko sana siya. So, in that regard, it wasn't unrealistic. It's just that I made some mistakes and may mga lapses ako, personal lapses sa self ko, kaya hindi ko siya naabot. Now, it's different. Okay? It's different if, let's say, you're just starting first year of trading mo, or maybe even nasa second year ka na ngayon, di ba? And dahil nakita mo first year, nalaman mo lahat ng sikreto ng ZFT system, you now know how to backtest, diba? Na-gets mo na yung process. And dahil gets mo na siya lahat, dahil naintindihan mo lahat, dahil alam mo na siya lahat, you set this 200% target. Okay, this year, target ako 100% ng portfolio ko. Okay, now the question there is, from a break-even trader or from a losing trader to shift entirely to a 200% trader, do you think you have the right experience and execution and familiarity sa market for you to confidently say na maaabot mo siya? Maabot mo yung expectation na yun? So for some people, it can be a yes. Sabihin natin, sobrang mabilis lang talaga yung learning curve mo. But for the common people, okay, I'm not saying na walang exception but for as a general rule, yung shift na yon, it's very big. Okay? It's very big. And yun na, doon nagiging problem yung mga resolutions na to. So you set this resolution, you set this very you aim for the stars without having the right process in place. So parang in-aim mo lang siya without doing something first, without working on the means to achieve that expectation. And pag hindi mo siya naabot, so anong mararamdaman mo at the end of 2022? Diba? You will feel again na, ay grabe, ang failure ko naman. Hindi ko na gawa yung resolution ko. But were you really a failure? Or were you really short of, parang hindi mo ba ginawa yung best mo for this year? Kasi hindi mo naabot yung expectation na yun? Or is it just because hindi pa yun yung right level or right target that you have to set for yourself? So kayo lang makakasagot niyan. Kasi kayo lang rin yung may alam nasaan ba kayo ngayon sa trading nyo. Okay? Kaya yung mga nagtatanong sa akin, no, this is a very common question like regarding quota. Every month, tama ba, coach, na magkakota ako? Tama ba na may target ako for every year? So, ang sinasabi ko sa kanila, you have to differentiate between quota that will give you pressure to perform and a target that will inspire you to be better. Ulitin ko yun, ha? So, there's a thin line. There is a very thin line that differentiates a quota that pressures you to perform, and yung pressure na yun is causing you to backfire or causing you to sabotage yourself, as opposed to a target that inspires you to be better. So, yung general rule ko on that, no, when it comes to percentage expectations in terms of performance, you always set it yearly. Okay, annual dapat siya. Hindi dapat siya monthly. Pwede siyang daily if you're a day trader, pero in terms of assessing your growth, it should always be at least a year. Okay, parang na-discuss din to ni Ken in one of his FGD. So, nire-re-echo ko lang yung sinabi niyo on that. So, that's one, no? Now ito siya more on the number side. Performance, okay? Percentage growth of your portfolio. What about the other qualitative things? Right? Like discipline. Is it okay, coach, if nakita ko 2021, sobrang undisciplined ko, therefore this year, one of my resolution is I will be a very disciplined trader. Okay lang ba yun na yun yung isa sa mga resolutions? My answer to that is yes. Pero you have to quantify. Anong klaseng pagiging disciplined yung gusto mong ma-achieve for this year? Are you talking about a complete 180-degree turn? Complete shift? And you're expecting yourself na magagawa mo siya just like that? Or are we talking about an incremental improvement? Like from someone very undisciplined and then you add a little bit of discipline, and first quarter nakita mo undisciplined ka pa rin, and then second quarter is medyo may discipline na until you reach the end of the year and masabi mo sa sarili mo na, okay, I was able to improve my discipline. So again, magkaiba yun. Okay? So that's the first thing that you have to address when you have resolutions. Are my expectations unrealistic? Kasi pag unrealistic yan, syempre ang ending yan, frustration lang. Kasi even if there is a chance na ma-achieve mo siya, baka the probability is more inclined to you not achieving it. And you'll be frustrated at the end of the year. And yung frustration na yun, magko-compound na naman yun the following year, di ba? So we don't want that kind of cycle. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2. Ayan. So why do most resolutions don't work out? Especially sa atin, for traders. It's because we don't ask for external feedback. Most of the time. You know, traders, we are very egoistic. Sorry for the term, pero siguro lahat tayo no aamin na pagdating sa trading natin at our very core, gusto natin tayo lang. Okay? Gusto natin ikaw lang yung maka-figure out. Gusto natin na if may problema sa akin, ako lang yung aayos nun. Yes, we can seek help, ask for advice, diba? Kasi yan yung culture na pina-practice natin inside PR. But at the end of it all, like when it comes to really improving, really knowing kung ano yung gusto mong improve, gusto mo ikaw yung maka-figure out. Ako guilty ako of that. Hindi lang kasi dahil coach ako or mentor ako, but even before, I'm not really vocal or open when it comes to my trading journey. Kasi parang gusto ko, parang iniisip ko na ako lang yung nakakaintindi sa struggles ko. Okay? So, yun, that's one thing that's one reason bakit madalas hindi nag-work out yung resolutions natin. Kasi ganito yan, guys, no? When it comes to trading, okay, sa trading lang ha, when you look at your numbers, okay, when you look at your journal, when you look at your trades, yes, ikaw yung gumawa ng trade na yan. And ikaw yung may alam sa plans mo sa trades na yan. Pero dahil trade mo siya, meron kang natural bias sa kanya na parang you take pride in taking that trade and therefore, you believe na tama siya. Even if nag-cut ka, even if you end up with a big loss, and lalo na pag panalo yung trade na yun, di ba? You think na you're doing the good thing or you're doing the right thing and you are right when it comes to most of these trades. So, parang ang sinasabi ko dito is ayaw natin madalas na masabihan, yung trade mo na yan, parang may mali dyan kasi ganito, ganyan, ganito yung ginawa mo. Or when it comes to your performance, alam mo, sa performance mo, parang hindi aligned yung trades mo sa profile mo. So, sinasabi mo na swing trader ka, pero bakit puro scalping trades yung ginagawa mo? So, sometimes we are allergic to feedback. Kasi again, we want to be right. Okay? Another manifestation of this is parang ganito. Okay? Let's say you have a trade. Tapos yung trade mo na yon, you did a lot of things that are considered wrong. For example, averaging down. Okay, alam natin mali yan. So you have a loser, average down ka. Or you took an all-in trade. Tapos yung all-in trade na yon or yung in-average down mo na trade ends up being a winner. And hindi lang winner, nag-end up siya being a big win. So 'di ba parang yung typical perception ng mga tao is if you have a winning trade, nothing is wrong with it. Right? That's the typical perception. Nag-gain ka, nag-DYM ka, nag-all-in ka, tapos times 20 leverage, and you were able to triple or quadruple your portfolio. Siyempre, nothing is wrong with that. Siyempre, kumita ka eh. So, that's the typical bias that we have when we see na there are results. Pero ang question doon is, sa mga results na yon, sa mga wins na yon, did you do the right process to achieve those wins? You can say na, yes, something is wrong, pero, again, may bias. Kasi ikaw yung nag-execute. That's where external feedback becomes very important. So I remember just days ago din, we had a trade defense sa TIP namin, and there are a lot of traders who shared their trades. Tapos the way they shared it is, parang they're very, alam mo yun, yung parang they take pride na ginawa nila yung trade na yun. And syempre kami, as coaches, hanapan namin ng butas yung trade. Hanapan namin kung saan sila nagkamali. It doesn't matter if it's a big win, a big loss, or gain ba yan, break-even trade ba yan. It doesn't matter kung ano yung result ng trade because the result is something that you can't control eh. But the process behind doing that trade is something that the trader fully controls. Okay? So instead of just basing it on the outcome, we did the assessment based on the process of achieving that outcome. And some of the traders were really surprised. Alam mo yun, yung parang ang ganda ng trade nila and they were discussing it really proudly. And then sasabihin namin na this trade is a bad trade. So parang, bakit? Kumita ako eh. This trade is a bad trade because number one, your position size is off. Yung entry mo, it was late. You average down on this and that. So kahit panalo ka dyan, I don't recommend that you repeat this trade again. Now, yung ganong klaseng assessment is only possible through external feedback. Okay? And I think alam din to ng karamihan sa atin, na sometimes our understanding of ourselves or the way we see ourselves, not only as traders, but even as individuals, is not a good, and hindi lang good, it's not an honest representation of who we really are. Diba? So, I hope this is something also that you need to do before doing all these resolutions. Before mo muna itali kung ano yung mga gusto mong baguhin sa sarili mo. Okay? You should go beyond introspection. You should go beyond self-assessment. You have to ask people around you, especially people who are part of your journey as traders. So, syempre, possible lang yun if you have an accountability group. Kaya nandyan din yan, yung AG system inside TR. It's there for this specific reason, to provide external feedback to you. Or if you don't have an AG, you can always consult with mentors and coaches. So ngayon, we are training a lot of the leaders to become mentors and coaches themselves. Hopefully sa future, makaka-conduct din sila ng mga consultations. And what you do is, other than your self-assessment, kung ano man yung external feedback na makukuha mo sa mga tao na to, you have to integrate it in your resolution. Kasi, siguro, masabi ko, 99% of the time, yung mga iniisip mo na kailangan mo improve, it's just, siguro 30% lang of the actual list of improvements that you have to do with yourself. And that's very true when it comes to your trading journey. Okay? So, that's number 2. Now, for number 3, this has something to do with how you keep track of your performance. So, traders, when it comes to their resolutions into the new year, it doesn't usually work out because wala silang data as basis for their analysis, as basis for their improvement. Sige, so sa 25,000 na nandito ngayon, who here diligently journals their trades? Like if I were to do a consultation with you and tinanong ko kayo, do you have a list of all the trades that you did for last year? Sino dito yung kayang ibigay yun ng ganun? In a snap. O eto coach, eto yung list of trades ko for last year with all the notes that I have per trade. With charts. O sige, kahit wala ng chart, basta yung list of trades lang na ginawa mo. With setup, kung ano yung date, kung kailan mo siya in-execute. Basically, a journal of your trades. Sino dito yung may ganon? Na kayang i-provide sa akin agad-agad if I were to do a consultation. So, wala. Everyone is parang either journalizing their trades in a incomplete way, hindi kompleto, or wala talagang journal. So wala akong nakitang sa chat na nagsasabi na yes, they're doing it. So yun, dun pa lang. Okay? Since walang nagsasabi na they're very diligent when it comes to journalizing. So that's one of the things that you have to do if you want to improve the success rate of your New Year's resolutions. Kasi guys, if wala kang data and yung basis mo for improving something with yourself is out of gut feel or out of intuition lang. Feel ko last year parang pangit yung discipline ko. So this year magiging disciplined ako. Or feel ko last year sobrang dami kong losses. So dapat this year mas maging magaling ako when it comes to managing my losses. So if ganun yung approach mo, okay lang naman siya, pero hindi siya ganun ka, what's the term? Hindi siya magiging ganun ka systematic when you try to implement the changes. Kasi you need data, you need the numbers to create a systematic implementation plan. Okay? Like if last year I have 30% or 30% of my losers last year were very big losses. So alam mo, on your head, alam mo, in your mind na 30% ng losses mo last year ay big losses. So how do you improve that this year? So from 30%, siguro mag-aim ako na 5% na lang. So diba, it's very, kumbaga sa ano pa yan, sa business pa yan, there is a KPI. Okay, meron kang key performance indicator na magsasabi sa'yo na talagang nagkaroon ka ng improvement. Now, becomes more difficult if you're talking about qualitative improvements like discipline. How do you quantify discipline para pagdating sa resolution mo and when it comes to the year end, makita mo na talagang na-resolve mo siya, talagang na-implement mo siya. Kailangan mo ng number, right? Kaya ako dati guys, no, when I journalize my trades, when I was starting, maliban sa mga data points like setup, etc., meron talaga akong column for emotion, what was my level of discipline, how would I rate this trade? Is it a 1? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 4? So I try to be very quantitative. Kasi alam ko sa sarili ko, if I have the numbers, it would be easier for me to know whether I improve or not. Diba? It's sometimes napaka-ano lang yan, napaka-simple lang. Like discipline. Categorize the trade. Was it a discipline trade or not a discipline trade? So out of 1,000 trades na meron ka, ilan dyan yung kinategorize mo as disciplined? Ilan dyan yung kinategorize mo as undisciplined? And you get that number. And then pagdating next year, how would I adjust or improve this metric? Or if you want to be very specific, pwede kang may column ng discipline tapos may rating ka 1 to 5. 1 being very low discipline, 5 being a trade with very high discipline. So i-rate mo lahat ng trades mo. Ganun. Pagdating ng end of the year, makikita mo what is my average discipline rating. 'Di ba? So I understand na hindi lahat mahilig sa numbers or hindi lahat mahilig mag-journal. I know traders who are quite successful, quite consistent, but they don't do a lot of journalizing. So this is not parang pag hindi mo siya ginawa, papalpak ka na agad or you won't be able to implement your resolutions. Hindi siya ganun. It's just that I believe if you're doing these things, your chances of hastening or making your improvement faster would be higher. So parang probabilities lang din siya. It's not 100% guarantee din naman. Kapag ginawa mo to lahat, automatically okay yung maging resulta sa end of the year. Or if hindi mo siya ginawa, papalpak ka. No. It's all about increasing the probabilities. Okay? So, sa lahat ng sa lahat ng parang masabi ko na reasons, I would say na these are the top 3 reasons kung bakit most of our resolutions don't usually work out. So, recap natin na. Number 1, unrealistic expectations. Okay, number 2, yeah, not asking for external feedback. And number 3, no data as basis for improvement. Okay? Now, I would like to add a number 4, pero hindi ko na siya nasama dito sa slide natin. So, yung number 4, why our resolutions don't work out is because of self-doubt. Actually, pwede ko namang i-add sa slide para masama sa recording. Okay. Nagre-record ba ako? Yeah, nagre-record ako. Akala ko hindi naka-record. So number 4 is self-doubt. Okay. So eto, I know na siguro marami sa inyo hindi guilty of this. Pero if the context behind your resolution is parang you are at the brink of breaking down as a trader. I mean, natatawa ako pero it's not a funny state to be in kasi let's say you come from a string of losses tapos yung portfolio mo you lost 50% of your account and nakita mo tiningnan mo lahat ng trades mo, every trade was an undisciplined trade, 'di ba? Hindi maiiwasan na mag-creep in yung self-doubt sa iyo. Okay? Yung self-doubt na you begin to ask questions like, is this game for me? Is trading something that I can really do effectively? Or maybe instead of parang maliban sa trading, you're really fully doubting yourself in terms of kung kaya mo ba i-improve yung sarili mo in the years ahead or in the year ahead. Okay? So it's inevitable, I would say. Every year, pagpasok ng bagong taon, there will always be a level of self-doubt when it comes to improving yourself. Hindi yan may iwasan. So, how do we address or how do we deal with this? Actually, no, if I were to be honest, the only person who can deal with your self-doubt is you. Yes, other people can help. Yung mentor mo pwedeng makatulong yan, yung AG mo pwedeng makatulong. But the ultimate person who can resolve it is you. So, ako, yung approach ko when it comes to self-doubt is not pep talk or yung iba sabi nila law of attraction, di ba? If you're doubting yourself, just think and think and think. Think positively para ma-attract mo yung mga magagandang bagay sa sarili mo. Personally, I don't believe in that stuff. Okay? Ako, I'm more practical when it comes to dealing with self-doubt. It's always about skills enhancement. Okay? So, napaka anticlimactic, no? Pero yun yung for me best way to deal with doubt. You have to find a way to enhance your skills. So, siguro this month, at least 10 people have approached me, traders and non-traders alike, asking on how they're going to deal with what's happening with the market. So I have a lot of friends, usually mga NFT gamers, lahat na sa Axie, and we all know what's happening, diba, in the market right now, sa crypto, sa PSE. And they can't help but ask kung how do they move forward from this? Kasi yung iba talagang malaki yung loss. Okay? And nandun yung self-doubt. Kaya ko pa bang makabangon from this state? Okay? And I always tell them the same thing. Alam mo, the only way for you to be confident, the only way for you to address doubt is you have the right skills to bounce back. So if you have, let's say you lost 300,000, 400,000, maybe ₱1 million because of what's happening in the market, because of the bear market. And siguro yung losses na yan, kasama na yung nangyari last year. So if you like accumulate everything, tinitingnan mo yung amount sa monitor mo, sa journal mo, and you're wondering, kaya ko pa ba itong bawiin? Very typical. So the only way for you to be confident na mababawi mo siya if you have the skills to hindi to revenge or to avenge your losses, but if you have the skills to build back your performance or your results. Right? So kunwari on my end, hindi naman sa parang pagmamayabang, pero if I experience, let's say, 100K loss in a single month. Okay? Honestly, malaki na 'yon. Okay, hindi na yan pera na mapupulot mo, 'di ba? Kahit saan. Pero if I'm fully aware na this loss is a result of just me following my process, talagang pangit lang yung market, no? Kaya nagkaroon ako ng loss na ganun. If I know that, and at the same time, if I know na I have the right trading skills, the right mindset, the right risk management, to recover from that loss, hindi ako mag-worry. Hindi ako matatakot. Kasi nandoon yung skills. So maybe, okay, maybe, yung source ng self-doubt mo is not because of what happened, but because of what you're not doing. Okay, I will repeat that. Maybe the source of your self-doubt is not because of what happened, so the losses, the failed trades, etc. Maybe it's not because of that, but because of what you're not doing. Ano yung mga hindi mo ginagawa para hindi mag-result to self-doubt? So are you continuously developing your skills? Or is it natalo ka and you end up, parang ayaw ko na. Parang wala namang kwenta. Aral ng aral ako, wala namang resulta. Pero ganun ba yun? Na dahil walang resulta, you're not already doing it right? Or wala ka nang ginagawa, wala kang progress just because you're not seeing the results? So is that a logical way of thinking about it when it comes to trading? Kayo lang makakapagsagot nun. Or maybe instead of reviewing your trades, looking at each trade, assessing what went wrong, ayaw mong tingnan yung trades mo. Ayaw mong tingnan kasi you don't want to be reminded of the losses. Now, ako, personally, dati ganyan ako. When I experience a very bad month or very big loss, ayaw ko siyang tingnan. Ayaw kong buksan yung broker ko. Kasi parang ayaw kong ma-remind of those losses. Pero the more you fail to remind yourself of it, the more you fail to address yourself of it, yes, hindi ka nga nare-remind, pero eventually it will convert to this one, to self-doubt. So you have to face it in a way, but at the same time, hinaharap mo siya by improving something with your skills or enhancing your skills. So again, it will take time, di ba? Consistent profitability, it will take time. Lagi naming sinasabi yan. The typical number that is being thrown out is 5 years. Isipin mo yon, 5 years ang kailangan for a trader to be genuinely, consistently profitable. Tapos, here you are, in your first or second year, already in that already doubting yourself kung kaya mo siya. So, it's easier said than done. Alam natin yan. Pero, hopefully, you realize na in this game, guys, it's really about the right skills and having the right process. As cliche as that might sound, okay? Once you have the skills, once you have the system, once you have the process, it doesn't matter kahit gaano kalaki pa yung loss na yan, kahit let's sabihin natin na parang meron kang 20 trade losing streak, so long as you have those things in place, hindi ka masya-shake ng sobra. Yes, you will be shaken, but you won't be parang hindi ka hindi mo papaniwalaan yung mga voices sa isip mo na maybe this is not for me or maybe this is the end. Okay? Hanggang dito na lang ako. So, yun. I just need to throw that out sa list of things why resolutions don't usually work out. Hopefully, nabigyan natin ng konting enlightenment regarding this problem. Okay? So, yun yung yun yung mga reasons kung bakit again, hindi nag-work out yung mga resolutions natin. So, sana maiwasan nyo yung mga yan. And now, I'll be opening the floor to questions. Question and answer tayo. So, aside from, maybe we can start with this. No? Aside from these 4 things, ano pa sa tingin nyo yung napapansin nyo based on your experience kung bakit hindi nag-work out yung mga resolutions? Yung mga New Year's resolutions natin. Or maybe you have something to add or ask about what I have discussed. So feel free to ask them. Pwede sa chat, pwede ring sa audio. Kung gusto nyo makipag-discuss with me. So the floor is yours, guys. Ayan. So while you are thinking about other questions or other points na pwedeng i-discuss natin, no? So, iano muna natin yung TI for January. And magkakaroon tayo ng TI this January. So, kung hindi ako nagkakamali sa audience na wala dito coming from January, right? Wala pa silang access sa all chat. Tama ba? Yung mga trading leaders dyan. Ayan, wala pa, sabi ni Jella. So, ito yung suggestion ko. The moment pumasok na yung mga EI batch for this January, kung nasa TR na sila, I hope we welcome them in a way na parang paano ko ba siya sasabihin? Actually, nakalimutan ko yung sasabihin ko. What I'm trying to say is we welcome them in a way na they would feel na hindi sila bago sa community. Ayan. Kasi yun lang yung napapansin ko minsan, no? Parang pag nagkakaroon ng bagong batch, parang we treat them as if they are new entrants na parang yung mga dinidiscuss natin sa mga FGDs natin and sa ibang sessions natin is wala pa silang alam about that. So parang yun lang, minsan they will feel left out a little bit because of the discussions. So yun yung parang challenge ko sa atin as a community. Na every month, every quarter na dadagdagan tayo. Okay, so ayos ba yun? Yun lang, I just have to mention about that. Okay, anyway, so do we have questions? Additional inputs about our topic for tonight? Okay, yung iba sa inyo nagte-trade ngayon, ha? May mga active pa rin ba na nagte-trade now sa markets? Kasi ako personally risk off ako eh. I'm all cash. TSE all cash. Crypto may konti akong holdings pero more of more of position trades. Wala pa daw trade si Mariel this year. Ayun si Emmanuel nag-ano daw siya short sa crypto. So if you're shorting crypto right now and nahuhuli nyo yung mga big drops, congrats kasi I mean that's something that I can't do personally. Hindi ako talagang wala akong skill when it comes to shorting. If you're doing really well in this market right now, it means something is really advanced when it comes to your strategy. Ayan, si Sir Gabriel the watch listing. Okay, so that's good to hear. All right, so I think wala nang added questions, no? So hopefully you learned a thing or two from our discussion tonight. So next Sunday, I'll be starting again yung Trader Chronicles natin. So about Trader Chronicles, guys, wait. Kasi may mga bago dito, no? From first time na manood ng Ask ZFT. So yung Trader Chronicles is we interview traders in the community and learn about their story and experience in trading. So if you have people or individuals whom you think na magandang maging part ng Trader Chronicles, so just message me para ma-set up ko sila. Okay, alam ko yung mga iba dito, yung mga leaders ito, si Mariel na ko na, si Jella, Gusto ba si Jella? Parang wala pa ata, wait. Hindi ko na maalala sobrang dami ng na-interview natin sa community natin. Yun, basta, if meron kayong tao na you want to be interviewed, so feel free to approach me or feel free to give a recommendation. Okay. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me in this episode. See you again next Sunday. Good night and enjoy the rest of the evening.